Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, inshallah, we will be looking at some interesting claims that Jay Smith made about Muhammed Hijab. Make sure you watch this video till the end. And believe me, the level of dishonesty and shamelessness is going to blow up your mind. I mean, even by Jay Smith standards, this is going to be very low. So let's get into the topic. After the recent controversial interview that Muhammed Hijab had with Dr Qadi 3 months ago, Jay claimed that Muhammed Hijab asked Dr Qadi questions on the Qira'at because he had a crisis of faith for 4 years and that he couldn't find an answer. So he expected Sheikh Dr Qadi to give him the answer he had been looking for. This all started in August 2016 when Jay Smith and his team went to Speaker's Corner carrying what they called 26 different Arabic Qurans. According to Jay, Hijab was there at Speaker's Corner on that day. It was the first time he has ever heard about these 26 Qurans. He tried to call Muslims away to make sure that they wouldn't see them. And eventually, he had a crisis of faith because he didn't know how to answer. Quite a story, isn't it? Let's hear it from Jay Smith.
The prophets fought, but by the time you get to the war, they were killed. That is a huge
attention. Don't give us
your faces, Muslim people, your face from here. Come.
You better go. We're going to make it more and more difficult for you.
Did everyone catch the Muslims there at the end calling everyone away from those 26 Qurans? Everyone, back up.
Who
because
was the tall man there? Who was it? Do you recognize him, David?
That was the mighty Muhammed Hijab.
He looks a lot thinner then, doesn't he?
Yeah, destroyer of Dr Qadi's career.
That was him in that crowd. And he was the one pulling all the Muslims away. That they were having panic. They were having a crisis. And I suggest that Muhammed Hijab was in panic mode as well. He was having a crisis. And he has still been in crisis for 4 years. And that's why I think, I can't prove it, but I think that's why he wanted Dr Qadi to put this to rest. Because 4 years now, no one has been able to answer the question that he couldn't answer back then in 2016. He had to pull them out of the crowd. He had to say, come to me, come to me. What would he have told them? What would he have showed them?
He's calling people away, pulling them away. He doesn't want them to hear and see these 26 Qurans. And this is what Dr Qadi is saying. Now, here is Muhammed Hijab. We're now in 2020, and he wants him to answer this question because he's had a crisis of faith. Muhammed Hijab is having a crisis of faith since 2016. I'm sure that's why he wants this question answered.
Look who's in the crowd, and look who's actually pulling away the people, the Muslims who are there. It's Muhammed Hijab. Muhammed Hijab was in the audience. He was demanding that all the Muslims leave.
He was there in the crowd when you saw him there, in the crowd, you saw him there. And he's telling all the Muslims to come away. He has one hand, come away. The other guy's with 2 hands. Why was he telling them to come away? He didn't want any Muslim to see what we were showing, and he didn't want any Muslim to hear what we were saying. And he had a crisis of faith at that moment. You're going to see him. He has a crisis of faith. That was 4 years ago. Now the problem is he is one of the leading authorities on the YouTube, on the Islamic world. He puts up a video almost every day. And of course this question came to, what about these 26 Quran? How are you going to answer it? He didn't know how to answer that. And in 4 years, he's never been able to answer that.
He actually made several claims against Muhammed Hijab. First, he had a crisis of faith because it was the first time he has ever seen these 26 Qurans. Second, he did not know how to answer them, and that's why he asked Dr Qadi to give him an answer. Third, he did not want Muslims to see the 26 Qurans. That's why he was trying to call them away. Now, to investigate these claims further, we would have to go to the original video. And we will check if Muhammed Hijab had a crisis of faith, did not know how to answer them, and tried to hide them from Muslims. Let's go and watch.
Okay, this is even though that's Mushaf bin Hamad. And when you look at that
wait, do you see the man with the beard who is standing next to Jay? That's Muhammed Hijab. Probably he came to persuade Muslims to leave. Let's get going.
Afterwards.
Right now, read the debate.
Okay, here we go. Let's go through this.
Right now.
Did you hear that? It seems like Muhammed Hijab is asking Jay Smith for a debate. But wait, he had a crisis of faith and he didn't know how to answer them. Maybe he was trying to show off. He wasn't serious about the debate. So let's keep watching.
We're going to show you. We're going to get to that. Hold on. We will read that. 10 different readings. And we're going to show you. We're almost down to 26.
Scream debate, because otherwise he wants to speak
Interesting, Muhammed Hijab is asking Muslims to shout, debate, 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 in order to put pressure on Jay Smith to accept the debate. So Muhammed Hijab is very serious about the debate.
So 24 different Qurans. 24 different Qurans. We're up to 24 now. How many do we are? Okay, I'll do it. And he disagrees. Over and over again he disagrees. And these are the disagreements, are they not? Everyone you see in red here disagrees with the Quran you have today. I'm a scholar, not you. I don't know who you are. No, I have no idea who you are.
Interesting, Hijab is insisting on a debate. Do listen to him, guys. He's asking Jay, let's debate this topic right now. Why would someone who doesn't know how to answer challenge you to a debate in front of tens of people?
No, I have no idea who you are. Just suing you now. But you do the homework now. Go back and look at these. And you're going to find you're not going to like what you like. What we're going to do now, we're going to show you some of these differences.
I'll tell you 2 minutes. Now, read the
22.
Can you read the I challenge you.
Show you some of these differences. There are thousands of differences. We don't have time to go through thousands of them. And what we're going to do, we're going to look at 2 Quran and the worst Quran. Just be quiet. Listen to what I'm saying. Who's scared? You are scared, I can see. And you're angry, I can see today. I can see why you're angry. I would be angry if I was a Muslim.
He stayed there for 12 minutes. So Muhammed Hijab was standing next to Jay Smith for 12 minutes, begging him for a debate, challenging him. And who rejected to have a debate? It was Jay Smith. And what was the reason for that? I don't know who you are. This fact alone, that Muhammed Hijab was standing next to Jay Smith for 12 minutes, challenging him to a debate in front of everyone, Only this fact is enough to debunk all the three claims, because if Muhammad Hijab had a crisis of faith, he would never have dared to challenge J. Smith. A week later, J. Smith went to Speaker's Corner to talk about the same topic, the so-called 26 different Qurans. Muhammad Hijab approached J. Smith again, mocked him for a while, and then challenged him to a debate.
Not today, not today.
What day is the debate then? What day are you going to have it? You got it on camera now.
We can do that in September sometime.
In September, Muhammad Hijab went to J. Smith again and challenged him to a debate. And this is J. Smith's response.
Hey, J. Smith!
No, we don't. Not today. I want to debate Yusuf Ishmael over there. Have him because he's somebody I know. He's somebody we'd like to debate. I don't know this guy.
Hey, but Jay! Hey, Jay!
I don't know you.
Hey, Jay!
I know a lot of the Muslims here.
Hey, Jay!
Everybody wants to debate me.
No, he admitted on camera. You admitted on camera you would debate him in September.
I don't know who you are, but 4 years later, I would claim that you didn't know how to answer, and that you had a crisis of faith. Now let's deal with the other claim. The claim that Muhammad Hijab was trying to pull people away. He didn't want them to see these 26 Qurans, so he called them away. We've seen in the footage that Muhammad Hijab, before calling Muslims away, tried his best to convince J. Smith to accept a debate, but Jay rejected. 2 weeks later, Muhammad Hijab with Ali Dawa made a video about this topic, and they went to talk to an expert on Qira'at, a scholar of Qira'at, about this very topic. The link is in the description. This video has over 100,000 views. So according to the imagination of J. Smith, Muhammad Hijab didn't want tens of Muslims to see the 26 Qurans. But then he made a video about it which reached tens of thousands of Muslims. Make sense? Okay, if you are a blind follower of J. Smith, anything he says would make sense to you. Now, this is the last part. Muhammad Hijab didn't know how to answer questions on the Quran. That's why 4 years later he wanted Dr Qadi to answer. Really? Well, let me tell you. In mid-2017, Muhammad Hijab had a debate with J. Smith students. And one of them, of course, was the genius Hatun Tash, the one who discovered these 26 Qurans that no Muslim in the world has ever known about. So it was a 1-hour debate. And I tell you what, you guys must watch that video. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, brother Muhammad refuted every single point they made. I made a short clip of that debate. Let's watch it.
And Tanazzalu means bring down. Tanazzalu means same meaning. Different wording. Allah is bringing them down. The idea that some verses can be read in more than one way. This is something which is new. Yeah, I'm saying no. This was something that was known to the Salaf. It's mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, a Muslim. It's mentioned in Muslim Hadith. In chapter 25, for example, can you find me the 7 different ways that it was recited? That's not how the ahruf works. Because what you're presupposing is that in every verse of the Quran, there has to be 7 different transmissions or differences, yeah? That's not what the thesis is. No one has ever said that. For example, Surah Al-Fatiha, chapter 1 of the Quran, all of Surah Al-Fatiha is the same among all 7 Qur'an, except for one word, which is Malik. So in other words, there's one difference with one word, which is expressed in 10 different qira'at. So 6 of those qira'at say Malik, and 4 of them say Malik. The Hafs Quran that you pick up now, it can facilitate at least 3 different qira'at. And that's why you have some words that have other two ways of being able to be pronounced. So, salat is actually not salawat.
Yet, why do copies in that chain? Yet, we know Afghan is that. Is that so? I would like to give you a source of why we copies like that. I would like to give
Ubay ibn Ka'b, he said he was part of the chain. He said he was part of the chain of Hafs, which is not true. Because the chain is exactly that Hafs narrated upon Asim, who narrated upon Abu Abdurrahman al-Sulami, who related upon Osman al-Affan, who related Allah. And Abu Ubay ibn Ka'b is not there at all. This thing, in terms of our stylistic variants, we have gone back to the Prophet Muhammad, who authenticated it through chain of narration, who had it authenticated by Allah. Something will not be registered as Quran unless it has two different things. Number one, it has to be in compliance with the Uthmani script. Number two, it has to be in compliance with the Arabic language. And number three, it has to have a chain of narration. And لابد أن يكون مشهورا. He says it's got to be at least mashhur, or we call it mutawatir, which means it has to have a mass transmission. So anything now that comes about, that you bring about, say, hey, this is the Quran. If you excavate any Quran which is different to the one we have now, and it's different, yeah? Even if it comes at the time of Uthman, even if it comes after him, we'll say, if it doesn't meet those three conditions, you can't even call it anything.
Please go and watch it and see how embarrassing it was for this genius woman. There is not a single point that she made that Muhammad Hijab was not able to answer. And again, I'm talking to J. Smith followers. Just watching the short clip that I made, do you really believe that this man, Muhammad Hijab, didn't know how to answer the Qira'at question? Or that he didn't have knowledge about it before J. Smith took them to Speaker's Corner? Do you really believe that the man who was standing next to Jay, challenging him to a debate, shouting, screaming for 12 minutes, and then again the next week he came and challenged him, and he said in September, and he came in September and again challenged him to a debate? Do you really believe that this man had a crisis of faith when he saw these 26 Qurans? Do you really believe the man who made the video about the Qur'an to his thousands of Muslim followers, do you really think that this man was worried about tens of Muslims standing and watching J. Smith and his so-called 26 Qurans? Do you really believe that? I'm sure you don't. I'm talking to the rational followers of J. Smith. I'm sure you don't. Don't lie to yourself. You don't. I'm not talking to the brainwashed followers or those who are filled with hate, who are going to accept any criticism against Islam. Even if it is stupid, it doesn't matter. If it is against Islam, then it's fine. So I'm talking to those rational people. You're better than this. Don't waste your time on these people. I'm not saying come to Islam. I wish you come to Islam. But at least pick the right guys to represent your religion. The intelligent, the honest, those who have integrity, who refrain from telling lies and making up stories from their own imagination.